In the dramatic world of the young and the restless, Claire is a character that makes viewers curious and worried. Her appearance is like an underground storm, not knowing when it will explode, but certainly having consequences. Claire's false hints about Victoria's cruel fate and her plan to escape with a huge inheritance are not only part of a fake story to fool Jordan, but also perhaps a reflection of Claire's true nature. She is on the edge of good and evil, and this internal battle may shape her future or lead her into the abyss. Jordan's haunted past and shadow Claire was once a victim of Jordan, a calculating and cruel woman. Under Jordan's control, Claire not only lost her youth, but was also molded into a distorted copy of the very person who destroyed her. After undergoing treatment in a psychiatric ward, Claire seems to have broken free of the shackles of the past. However, Jordan's haunting upbringing remains an indelible part of her psyche. It deeply affects her every action, her decisions, and even her view of herself. While Claire tries to bury the horrific memories of Jordan, the woman's death is a knot that is difficult to untangle. The image of Jordan drinking the poisoned tea that Claire prepared, whether in self-defense or revenge, will haunt her forever. She can console herself by saying that Jordan decided to drink it herself, but the fact that she herself put an overdose of sleeping pills in the tea makes her death impossible to call accidental. It was a direct result of Claire's actions, and it leaves deep cracks in her soul. The rise of bad Claire Jordan's death may have freed Claire physically, but it has awakened something dark deep within her. Claire wants to believe that she can leave all the madness of her past behind, lock it in a box, and move on with her life. But the reality is not that simple. The psychological trauma Jordan caused cannot be erased overnight. It seeps into every corner of Claire's mind, forcing her to face a harsh truth: she is slowly becoming a different version of Jordan. The signs of Claire's evil begin to emerge as she builds a fake story to trick Jordan. This plan is not only a means to escape Jordan, but also reveals Claire's incredible manipulative abilities. She seems to have no qualms about using her intelligence to manipulate the situation to her liking. This makes viewers wonder, is Claire really just pretending to be a villain, or is she gradually becoming one? Victoria and her concerns about Claire. Victoria Newman, one of the most influential figures in the powerful Newman family, is the first to recognize the potential danger that Claire poses. Although Claire tries to act normal, Victoria cannot help but feel worried. She begins to follow Claire, looking for any signs that Claire is going down the wrong path. The relationship between Victoria and Claire thus becomes tense, full of suspicion and conflict. Victoria is not wrong to worry. Claire, no matter how hard she tries, cannot completely hide the traces of the bad Claire. The painful memories, the guilt over Jordan's death, along with the obsession with having to deal with the Newman family, all gradually push Claire into a dark corner of her soul. She is no longer a simple woman seeking freedom. She is torn between two sides of herself: a good Claire who wants to escape her past and build a new future, and a bad Claire, Jordan's ghost, who wants to control and harm all who stand in her way. The threat to the Newmans: if Claire does indeed return to her old ways, the consequences will not stop at Victoria. The Newmans, a symbol of power and wealth, could be her next target. Claire, now having learned how to manipulate Jordan, will know how to exploit the family's weaknesses to achieve her goals. This opens up a series of dramatic situations, where the conflict between Claire and the Newmans becomes the focus of the story. Claire is not a typical villain, though. She is a complex woman, both pitiful and terrifying. She is a victim of circumstances, but also the creator of tragedies for others. It is this conflict that makes Claire such a memorable and impactful character. Claire is at a crossroads where she must choose between becoming a new person or sinking deeper into the darkness of her past. The battle between good Claire and bad Claire will not only determine her fate, but also affect those around her. In the dramatic and conflicted world of the young and the restless, Claire's choices not only paint a complex story of her inner struggles, but also shake up her relationship with the powerful Newman family. Claire, a character who has suffered deep trauma, is on the thin line between redemption and losing her way. With her past haunted by Jordan and her actions in the present, Claire must not only fight with herself but also face the scrutiny of Victoria Newman, who constantly doubts her. Victoria Newman, paranoia or accurate premonition? Victoria Newman is a strong and calculating woman who is not easily fooled. Claire's unusual actions and complicated history have left Victoria unable to sit still. Ever since learning about Jordan's death and Claire's shadowy role in it, Victoria has been wondering, is Claire truly free of Jordan's shadow, or is she just hiding her own dark side? Victoria's suspicions grow as she notices signs of something unusual happening in Claire. From Claire's attempts to avoid mentioning the past to her sometimes too quiet and calculating actions, Victoria begins to wonder if Claire is plotting something against her family. Victoria's mind becomes increasingly paranoid. She decides to follow Claire in search of evidence or at least any signs that Claire might pose a threat to the Newmans. While Victoria watches Claire's every move, Claire herself is tormented by her past. Jordan's death is not an easy thing for her to overcome, especially when she was the one who provided that fateful cup of poison tea. Although Jordan chose to drink the entire cup of tea, Claire knows that the sleeping pills she put in it have had irreversible consequences. The event not only ended Jordan's life, but also left a deep scar on Claire's soul. She wants to believe that she can pack all the memories of Jordan into a small box and hide it away. However, every time she tries to forget, the memory resurfaces, haunting her in every dream, every waking moment. Jordan is not just a dead person, but also a symbol of the trauma, fear, and madness that pushed Claire to the brink. Good Claire versus Bad Claire. The battle within the inner conflict within Claire becomes the crux of the story. There seem to be two different people inside her, a good Claire who wants to escape the darkness and live a peaceful life, and a bad Claire, Jordan's ghost, who always urges her to take revenge and control. Jordan's death not only frees Claire from that evil woman, but also awakens terrifying tendencies that Claire herself did not expect. The evil Claire constantly pushes her back to the path of manipulation and revenge. Whenever she feels cornered, Claire tends to use her intelligence and ability to manipulate others, a skill she learned from Jordan, to gain an advantage. This makes viewers wonder, does Claire really want to be a good person, or is she just waiting for an opportunity to reveal her true nature? The potential threat to the Newmans if Claire really reverts to her old ways of thinking, the consequences will be extremely serious, especially for the Newmans. As a powerful and wealthy family, the Newmans are always the target of those who want revenge or take advantage. If Claire feels there is a reason to turn against them, perhaps because of Victoria's suspicion, coldness, or even a sense of threat, she can easily use what she has learned from Jordan to attack. Claire is not only a smart woman, but also someone who knows how to exploit the weaknesses of others. In the event that she decides to turn against the Newmans, she can cause significant damage, both financially and reputationally. This will take the story to a new level, with the conflict between Claire and the Newmans taking center stage. Victoria is not someone to be taken lightly. If Claire really starts to make moves against the Newmans, Victoria will certainly do everything she can to protect her family. However, this could lead to a long-term battle between two strong women, where both use their intelligence and cunning to confront each other. What will Victoria do to keep her family safe, and can she overcome Claire, who is becoming increasingly complex and unpredictable? Claire's story is a journey of contradictions and surprises. Although she tries to escape her past, the ghost of Jordan and her own dark tendencies are always present. She can become a good person, but she can also fall into the role of a villain, causing new tragedies for the Newman family. Victoria Newman, a strong-willed and powerful woman, is always looking to protect her family from outside dangers, especially when there is any sign of danger approaching. However, as Claire's relationship with the Newmans becomes more complicated, Victoria begins to become paranoid, not only out of worry but also because she feels that Claire could be a potential threat. Victoria's obsession grows as she decides to follow Claire, trying to detect any signs that the girl is going astray. But will Victoria find what she fears, or will her obsession lead to a new tragedy? Despite her efforts to hide and continue her normal life, Claire cannot seem to escape the ghosts of her past. Jordan's death, partly unintentionally caused by her, has left a deep wound in her soul. Her guilt grows, threatening to destroy all her efforts to live a peaceful life. Jordan, a complex and dangerous man, was at the center of Claire's troubles. In that fateful moment when Jordan decided to drink the poison tea himself, Claire knew that his death was not entirely unintentional. She herself had added an overdose of sleeping pills to the tea, an action that Claire never imagined would lead to this tragic end. But that does not mean Claire is a complete villain. She is not a cold-blooded person who is willing to do anything for her own benefit. Her actions are full of contradictions, between love and hate for Jordan, between guilt and a desire to escape from her dark past. Victoria does not see Claire that way. The incident with Jordan is just one of many reasons why Victoria feels uneasy about Claire. She believes that Claire, with her mysterious personality and tumultuous past, could be a ticking time bomb. The more Victoria observes, the more she becomes obsessed with the idea that Claire could return to her old ways and cause serious harm, especially if she finds a real reason to turn against the Newmans. Victoria begins to gather information about Claire, from old friends to events in her past. In Victoria's eyes, any of Claire's actions could have a hidden meaning. A sly phone call, a lost look, an unexplained trip are all seen as signs of a growing threat. But this obsession can also spiral out of control. When Victoria focuses too much on looking for warning signs, she risks missing the more obvious signals of real danger from outside, or even from within her own family. Claire feels increasingly suffocated by Victoria's suspicious gaze. Despite her efforts to put things into perspective, the memory of Jordan's death haunts her every moment. The guilt comes not only from her role in his death, but also from the realization that she has no regrets about Jordan's passing. This leaves Claire torn between her desire to build a new life and her obsession with her past choices. What will happen if Victoria continues to push Claire into a corner? Someone struggling with guilt and grief can become dangerous, especially if she feels like she has no way out. Claire has tried to shake off her past and live a quiet life, but if she realizes that the Newmans are treating her like a threat and an enemy, will she accept this injustice forever? If Claire truly finds a reason to turn against the Newmans, it will lead to a storm that no one could have foreseen. Claire's intelligence, determination, and ability to turn the tables have made her a formidable opponent in the past. She doesn't have to attack head-on. A clever move, a well-timed word, or even a calculated silence could send the Newmans into crisis. Will Victoria realize that her excessive suspicions have created an enemy out of someone who doesn't want to hurt anyone? And will Claire find a way to end Victoria's obsession, or will she be pushed into a new cycle of revenge? The price of the past and the dangers of the future. The Young and the Restless has always been successful in exploring complex conflicts between characters, and Victoria and Claire's story is a prime example. When the past is not completely resolved, it always finds a way to return and create unexpected problems. Whether Victoria is trying to protect her family or Claire is trying to escape her pain, both are faced with difficult choices and inevitable consequences.